Well, here I am at the cabin. I've been here, dang, it's almost been 2 weeks, I guess, by myself most of the time. My wife was here. Yesterday she came up, spent the night, and now she had to be back in Wasilla today for a event she's going to attend. Otherwise, pretty much up here by myself. But it's been nice. I'm starting to really enjoy it. The pond out there, it's had ice on it. A lot of ice for this late in the year. When I'd get up in the morning, it would be covered with ice, and I'd have to wait till 1 o'clock or so in the afternoon to go out and take pictures of these ducks because they didn't like the ice either, and they would just stay cuddled up somewhere and wait till the ice thawed. But yesterday morning was the first morning, I believe, since I've been here where I woke up and the water was open. So that was nice. I could go out there a little earlier, quite a bit earlier, in fact, and take some pictures of ducks. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I've relaxed quite a bit, and I really enjoy sneaking out there and taking pictures of ducks. So, and I got a few pretty good ones. I've taken, I guess, hundreds of pictures, and I put together here a little collection of, I think there's 19 of them I think I've got here. And so yeah, let's take a look at it, at these pictures, this little slideshow I'm going to put up, and then afterwards we'll come back here and we'll do a little talking about how I did it and things like that. So anyway, yeah, here we go. Take a look at this show. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those duck pictures and other birds here. I was going to just do ducks, but I can't resist when other birds land nearby, take their picture too. Excuse me. So, I love taking duck pictures or waterfowl. I love taking all wildlife pictures. I like it a lot. I've had a lot of people ask me, what do you need to take pictures of especially ducks, things like that, but generally all wildlife. And they say, what equipment do I need, or what should I get, or what cameras or lenses should I buy? And I've been thinking about that lately. The most important thing that you need to begin photographing wildlife, the most important thing is free. You don't even need to pay for it. You just need patience, lots and lot of patience. I spend hours out there by the pond taking these pictures, hours and hours and hours out there. And that's what it takes to get decent pictures. You know, of course you need a camera, preferably one that's got a zoom lens on it or interchangeable lenses or something. And you don't need, to begin with, you don't need a really powerful telephoto lens. It helps. It does helps. The more powerful it is, I guess, the less patience you need, but you still need a lot. But you know, you can get by with a 300 millimeter as little zoom lens, 70 to 300, 80 to 200, anything like that, or a 300 millimeter. Well, you know, just put something on and go out and sit and wait. But it's going to take time. You're not going to just get amazing pictures, you know, your first time out, because there's a lot to learn. And I'm still learning, even at my age. Every time I go out, I'm learning something. You know, it's just natural to be learning from your mistakes and trying to improve yourself. But yeah, a lot of patience is what you need. And of course, you do need a camera and a lens, you know, that to start out with. You don't have to be real picky. Just get out there is what you need to do. Just get out there and take those pictures. A lot of people use a tripod. I don't. Well, I do sometimes, but recently I have not been using a tripod. But yeah, just be patient and get out there and learn. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. Now, as far as my camera settings went for these pictures you just viewed, I used two cameras on this. I used my Nikon D600, which is a full frame camera from, I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that. And the majority of pictures that you just looked at, I'd say 75% were taken with that camera. Also, I used my D500 right here. I used that beginning yesterday. And also my lenses, the 200 to 500, the Nikon 200 to 500. And that's all of these pictures that you just looked at were taken with that lens. It's you just keep learning, and it's a hard thing to be patient. But when you find a site where there's waterfowl or any wildlife, actually waterfowl especially, you can go try to hide if you want, but those birds are going to see you. They know you're there. Just get one look at you, they know you're there, and they know exactly where you go. And so what I found, now this is only my opinion, is you just got to find a place, sit down or lay down, whatever you need to do, and just stay there. And you can move around, but make them slow movements. And don't try not to startle the birds. And after a while, they'll realize that you're there, and you're probably not going to shoot them. So they'll start getting closer and closer. They'll still swim like a horseshoe shape around in front of you, because you can see them. They're looking right at you. They know where you are. I don't use camouflage. I'm probably dressed about like I am right now. Sometimes I wear a hat. Sometimes I don't. But I find a place that's real comfortable and just sit there and wait. Now my settings on the cameras that I'm using, the D500 and the D600, I have them set to auto ISO with my my high ISO set to, I think it's 2500, and the minimum shutter speed I have set to 1/1600th of a second. I used to shoot slower shutter speeds, but I wasn't happy with the sharpness because even though they look sharp, they weren't. And I'm real happy with 1/1600th of a second. Of course, I miss focus quite a bit too. Another thing that I use, I had a lot of trouble, especially with this big lens, this 200 to 500. I have a lot of trouble with my horizon, keeping it level. Holy cow, I have a lot of trouble. Sometimes it would be so far out that I just wonder how in the heck did I do that? But anyway, so on both of these cameras, there's a setting you can set to work from one of the two buttons on your right hand on the front of the camera. You can set it to horizon, and when you do that, you push the button, and at the bottom of your viewfinder there'll be a little level thing that goes one way or the other. It's kind of a graph thing, and that way it helps you keep your camera level. It's hard to do because you got two things you're looking at in the viewfinder. Then you got your focus area, and you also got your level horizon area. So when things are happening quickly, it's hard to keep everything correct. But you just got to accept that there's going to be times when one or the other is going to be off. So, but that's how I set up my cameras. And where I take pictures out there, where I've been, every picture you looked at except for the one with the swans on the ice with the ducks in front of them, every other picture was taken from the exact same location out here. It's about, I don't know, less than 5 minutes walk from the cabin from here. And it's kind of I'm not going to say it's comfortable, but it's usable because it has a little dip for my hips to lay in, and then I can lay on my right side and facing the pond, and up. It's got a little mound like this where I can rest my camera. This is all natural. I didn't do any of it. I just stumbled on this place. But anyway, so it's halfway comfortable. I bring a industrial garbage bag with me and lay it down on the ground where I lay down because it's really wet there. It's really kind of cold actually, but it's after I can lay there for maybe 2 hours, but after the first hour, it starts getting uncomfortable. But it's a unique place. I'm going to put a picture of it right here somewhere. Anyway, so I took this with my cell phone the other day, so you see what I'm looking at when I look out onto the pond from where I'm at. Like I said, you got to have a lot of patience with those ducks. And another thing, especially where I'm at, is you got to be aware of what's going on around you here in Alaska. I mean, I don't have any bears here. I've never seen a bear around my cabin, but they're out there. But moose have they're very common here. And in a couple weeks, the mama moose going to be coming across, and they love the pond, and they'll be taking their calves out there, the newborns out there, to teach them what a pond is and how to drink water and get wet. And they like to get in there and brush and wash the mosquitoes off of them because they're really thick. Anyway, so you got to watch out for moose. And when you're out there taking pictures, it's hard to. It's kind of hard to forget where you are, but you can't do that, and because you don't want a moose or walking up on you. And this probably anywhere you take pictures, don't matter if you're in the wilderness or out in the city, you just you need to stay aware of your surroundings. I really do, because you don't want things happening to you that you could have prevented if you knew they were coming. If you know what I mean. So what made me say this is where I sit out there, we can almost see it from the window where my from the window here in the cabin. But yesterday afternoon, after I came back in for a while, my wife was here. She came up one night and brought me some food and clothes. And the dog Schnitzel came too. Anyway, she took Schnitzel outside to do his little work, and I looked out the window, and there's a cow moose out there in the pond drinking, and Schnitzel, he likes to bark at him, and they don't like dogs barking. So I stepped out the door and said kind of loud, you better get in here. There's a moose. Well, she'd already seen it, was on her way in. But anyway, when I said that, I went back to the window, and that cow moose had heard me, and she was splashing her across the pond to the other side. It spooked her, I guess. But this morning I went out there, and I got in my little hidey hole to take some pictures. I went out really early, and I'm in a little copse of trees there, and so I'm pretty well surrounded by trees. But you do have a straight path to the pond. But anyway, I looked over to where that cow moose was last night. If I'd have been there, she would have been 10 feet from me, 10 to 12 feet, I figure. And so that's pretty close. I've had them closer than that, but that would have been a little awkward and uncomfortable for me to know she was right there and had no idea I was hiding out behind the next tree. But anyway, so yeah, you got to watch out for that and always be aware of what's happening around you. I'm hoping I don't have too much trouble with moose. I've got along pretty good with them, but sometimes they're ornery. I had one last year that she brought her calf to the pond, and I seen her through the window, and so I grabbed my camera and I ran out. I went clear to the other end of the pond and got behind some trees. I just wanted to get a picture of her and her calf with my telephoto lens. Well, she seen me. She was probably 75 or 80 yards away from me. She seen me moving through the trees, and she did not hesitate. She jumped in the water and started coming at me because she was defending her baby. Well, that was kind of concerning when I seen that, and I found that the best thing to do is don't run, because they can run a lot faster than you. If you hold still, sometimes they can't spot you. And so that's what I did. And she got up on the bank. She's about 100 feet from me, and she was, peering into the forest, looking for me. I was pretty much in plain sight, but she couldn't see me because I was holding real still. And then she started walking forward a little bit. She knew about where I was at. And luckily for me that about that time, her calf, who she left way back there on the bank by itself, decided he was going to follow his mom, and he jumped right in the pond and that was his first time in the water, and he knew how to swim, instinctively, but he was having trouble. So she heard him jump in, and she looked back at him, and then she looked back towards me and back at him, and then she looked at me one more time, and then she spun and run around and turned around and went and swam back to her baby to help it out in the water. And I was glad to see that because, I was just glad. Anyway, I jumped up myself and ran back into the cabin. But, so that happens. You just got to be aware. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed those pictures. Now, I had a young man call me last week. He called me here at the cabin, and he'd been looking at my YouTube videos, and he liked them, and he said he had a suggestion. And so he told me what it was, and I thought, that's a pretty good idea, so I'm going to do it. And that suggestion was each week, when I put these slideshows up on the screen for you, he said, why don't you put a link in your description to let your viewers go to a website and look at your pictures, a larger size, and so they're not flashing on and off the screen. He said, and then they can just follow that link and go look at those pictures. And I thought, well, you know what? That's a pretty good idea. So I set that up on this video right here, this that we're doing today. If you look in the description, you'll see a link there, and it'll take you to one of my SmugMug galleries, and all these pictures that you saw today will be on there for your viewing pleasure, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do that all my videos from now on. For a long time, I had shopping cart on SmugMug for people that could buy my pictures there. It wasn't paying for itself, actually. So I took that off. After years and years, I took it off on, I think, maybe January or February of this year. I got to a different program on SmugMug where that's not available anymore. But if I had interest in my pictures, I would switch back and have the shopping cart available. So just let me know. And I mean, it's no trouble to do that. But right now, you don't have the option to buy them or download them. But that could change if people show an interest in them. So yeah, I thought that was a good idea. Good to have good suggestions once in a while. I think that's about it for today's video. I've rambled on quite a bit. If you have questions, any questions about how I took these pictures, boy, just feel free. I hear an eagle outside. Just feel free to ask me a question in the comments, and I appreciate your comments and your likes, and I appreciate people who are choosing to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it a lot. So I guess that's it for now. I'm going to say goodbye, and you all be safe. Take care of yourselves. Be aware of your surroundings now. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and probably I'm going to be up here for a while yet. I'm waiting for, there's about 3 more species of ducks to come in here that I haven't seen out here yet. I'm kind of waiting around for those guys. But anyway, maybe we'll have some more duck pictures next week. You guys take care, be good, and be careful. Get out there and take some pictures, and be aware of your surroundings, and be patient. You got to be patient. All right, see you then.